All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. Now, when the 2021 Major League Baseball season began, the San Diego Padres were expected to be in contention with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the top spot in the National League West. But things have changed as the San Francisco Giants have come out of nowhere to currently have the best record in baseball, which has left the Dodgers and Padres to scramble for a potential wild card berth. Now, whereas at one point it appeared to be a foregone conclusion that the Padres would be able to get at least a wild card berth for October, that is no longer a guarantee. Currently, the Padres, as they are just started their game versus the San Diego Padres this afternoon, they're a full 10 games behind the San Francisco Giants for first place in the West, while they're 6 games behind the Dodgers for the first wild card. And they only have a 2.5 game lead over the Cincinnati Reds for the final wild card spot in the senior circuit. And of course, Cincinnati is facing the Philadelphia Phillies today. So a win by the Reds coupled with a loss by the Padres would shrink that lead down just to a game and a half. Now, if the Padres find a way to not make the postseason this year, you have to look at their inability to take care of business versus the also Rans. First and foremost, San Diego is only 8-7 this year versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are the worst team in baseball this year. And then on top of that, these same Diamondbacks no hit the Padres last night. That ain't going to get it done. Overall, San Diego is only 32-29 versus teams that have losing records. And once you compare that to the Dodgers and Giants, the Dodgers are 39-14, while the Giants are 40-16. So you can see that these two clubs have been handling their business. You look back to the Fernando Tatis injury, and of course, he just returned to the lineup with shoulder inflammation. He had been out for a couple of weeks, but nonetheless, there's still plenty of talent on this San Diego roster to get it done. The Padres, they're fourth in the NL in earned run average this year. And, Yu Darvish has been solid, but just as the Padres are getting Tatis back, now Darvish is going to the injured list. They still have Joe Musgrove. Blake Snell has not been the Blake Snell that we've seen previously with the Tampa Bay Rays. And I think that is something right there that could potentially hinder the Padres down the stretch, and it has hurt them to this point in the season. You look at it for manager Jace Tingler, he's got to go out there and find a way to get the Padres to play their best ball, because right now they are not playing their best baseball. And you look at it, first and foremost, you look at the remaining schedule for the Padres. They have a slew of games versus the Giants and Dodgers. And for an outsider's perspective, you could say, well, you know what? It's going to be tougher for the Padres to make the playoffs. But when you look at everything, the Dodgers and the Giants really haven't been the problem for the Padres this year. It's been the teams that they're supposed to beat. You look at it, they got, like I said, they got one more today with Arizona. They've got a 3-game set. The next 3 games in Denver versus Colorado, and then they're home next weekend for the Philadelphia Phillies. That series is not going to be easy because the Phillies have some momentum for themselves, and they are currently in first place in the NL East. But you look at it overall, like I said, the Padres have a slew of games versus the Dodgers, a slew of games versus the Giants. They got a series versus the Houston Astros, and also they got a series against the Braves, like factoring in some of their remaining schedule. The big boys of baseball have not been the problem for the Padres this year. So, you're going to look at it, and this right here is what separates the good teams from the great teams. This is also what separates the so-so franchises from the good franchises. And I'm talking about, number one, going out there and being able to take care of your business. Also, the consistency to make the playoffs and making the playoffs when you are expected to. And, last year, the Padres were a feel-good story. They made the postseason, and they were able to do some damage there. this time around, a lot of people expected and still expect the Padres to make the postseason. But what can you do when everybody expects you to do it? You look at the Dodgers, and I know that they're in the wild card slot. They're not in first place in this division, but they're still kings of the mountain as far as I'm concerned because they have won the NL West in so many consecutive years. You look at them, 3 World Series appearances since 2017, and of course, they are the defending champs. So everybody expects the Dodgers to win every single year, and the Dodgers come in with that expectancy themselves, but they go out there and live up to those expectations. You look at the San Francisco Giants since 2010, 3 time World Series champions, and they are looking like they're right back in the mix, not only to make the playoffs, but also do some damage come October. It's a little bit different when the expectations are there. You have to live up to them. This is what this San Diego Padres team must figure out. Historically, the Padres have been a losing franchise. They'll be able to get put together a couple of winning seasons consistently here and there, but never anything that is sustained. So we are going to see what this Padres club is going to be able to do coming down the stretch, and it begins today. Obviously, they're not going to win this weekend series versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, but you want to try to finish the series on a positive note. You want to, and if you do finish the series on a positive note, you want to be able to carry that momentum over into your series at Denver versus the Rockies, a team that you need to beat. So this is what separates, the so-so franchises from the good franchises, and it's really going to be interesting to see if the Padres are able to answer the bell, not only for this today in their upcoming series versus Colorado Rockies, but coming down the stretch overall, because I guarantee you, if the Padres are unable to make the postseason this year, as most people expect them to do, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing going on in the 619 because the talent is there not just to make the postseason, but the talent is there to make a legitimate run in October at a World Series crown. But you know what? You don't win championships on paper. You don't win championships on expectations. You got to go out there and execute. That's the bottom line. That's the name of the game when it comes to professional sports. So we're going to see what the Padres are made of come down the stretch. And if they can live up to those expectations, get back to the postseason and potentially do some damage this October. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There is also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.